Wow.
In fact, it says it very explicitly later on in the same account. If you keep reading the rest of the Quranic narrative of Joseph, he talks about. Well, I could find it for you. Let's read it.
This episode is brought to you by our Revo Report Patreon. Join our community to get first access to interviews, Bible study guides, devotionals, and prayer books for adults, youth, families, and marriages. Plus, resources on Christian living, leadership, sermon prep, exclusive Q&As, online Bible studies, and even one-on-one coaching or counseling. Visit patreon.com/Vince Revo and grow in faith and truth with us.
Okay, so it says in verse 94 and 95, this is the very end of the story, okay? So the caravan is departing from Egypt to come back to pick up Jacob and bring him down to Egypt. Okay, they're going to relocate. And it says, when the caravan departed from Egypt, their father said to those around him, "You may think I am senile, but I certainly sense the smell of Joseph." They replied, "By God, you are definitely still in your old delusion." But when the bearer of the good news arrived, he cast the shirt over Jacob's face, so he regained his sight. Jacob then said to his children, "Did I not tell you that I truly know from God what you don't know?" So Jacob knows all along, because Jacob is a prophet in the Quran as well, okay, that Joseph is alive. And he talks about it all the time.
So this entire time that Joseph's been gone,
he thinks he's alive. He knows he's alive. In fact, because he heard the dream of the sun, moon, and 11 stars, which is also in the Quran, and again, there's differences there. So in Genesis, who does he tell the dream to? Do you remember? So he tells it to his brothers. Okay, he has two dreams, the sheaves of wheat that bow down to him, and he tells his brothers, and they get upset. What are we going to bow down and you're going to rule over?
Yeah.
Okay, and then the second dream, which is the dream in the Quran also, because it doesn't mention the first one, that sun, moon, and 11 stars, he tells his brothers.
Okay.
And then he tells his brothers again along with his father. So his father didn't hear the first dream, he hears the second dream. This is the Genesis account. Jacob reacts. He says he rebukes him, so it's harsh correction, and he says, what, are we going to bow down and serve you? You're going to rule over us? But Jacob's reaction is that he's upset hearing the dream, and he rebukes Joseph. And Joseph has told both the dreams to his brothers, and also the father of the second dream. In the Quranic narrative, I'll read it to you, it's very short. So it's at the very beginning of Surah 12, verse 4 and 5. Remember when Joseph said to his father, "O my dear father, indeed I dreamt of 11 stars and the sun and the moon. I saw them prostrating to me." He replied, "O my dear son, do not relate your vision to your brothers, or they will devise a plot against you. Surely Satan is a sworn enemy to humankind."
so he actually tells them, don't do that.
And
or
he
they're
doesn't tell them.
In the Quran, he doesn't tell them.
Right.
He doesn't tell the brothers in the
Correct.
Quran. So what would be the motive then for the brothers' jealousy to go and...
Well, the next scene, verse 8, remember when they, the brothers, said to one another, "Surely Joseph and his brother Benjamin are more beloved to our father than we, even though we are a group of so many. Indeed, our father is clearly mistaken. Kill Joseph or cast him out to some distant land, so that our father's attention will be only ours. Then after that you may repent and become righteous people." One of them said, "Don't kill Joseph, but if you must do something, throw him into the bottom of a well, so perhaps he may be picked up by some travelers." Okay, let me read the next verse.
Yeah.
They said, "O our father, why do you not trust us with Joseph, although we truly wish him well? Send him out with us tomorrow, so that he may enjoy himself and play, and we will really watch over him." And he doesn't trust them at first, but eventually he goes with them. Okay, so question I ask Muslims if I do this part of the story is, how old is Joseph? How do you know how old he is in the Genesis account?
Was he in his teens?
Yes.
Yeah.
Genesis 37 verse 2 says he is 17 years old.
17, yeah.
Here, I say, how old is he in the Quranic narrative? He's a small child.
That's why he wants to go and play.
He needs to have supervision. And the brothers have to ask for permission and say, we're going to watch over him while he plays. That's not a 17-year-old. That's a child. And where are the brothers if they're asking their father for permission? They're home. In Genesis, this is right after the dreams. So right after the dream, that in the Quran, he tells his father says, "Don't tell your brothers." He doesn't tell his brothers. Then the next scene is the brothers plotting. They come up with their plan. They're done coming up with their plan. They're going to throw him into a well in hopes a caravan might find him, which is kind of funny. But then they go and they ask their father for permission. "Let Joseph come with us." Okay. The Genesis narrative in Genesis 37, they tell the brothers both the dreams and the father, here's the second dream. The father rebukes him. And then what is the next scene? The brothers are way off tending to the flock up in Shechem, and they live in the home base is in Hebron. Okay, this is at least 70, 75 kilometers away up north to Shechem. Okay, so the brothers are not home.
Right.
The brothers are not asking their father, send Joseph out with us. Joseph is at home with their father. All the other brothers are up in Shechem. So, other than probably maybe Benjamin, okay? But then Jacob says, your brothers in Genesis, your brothers have been gone a long time. Go check up on them, see if it's well with them.
Right.
So Jacob's idea...
Which also you wouldn't do for a little kid.
There you go. Right, you're going to send a 5 to 7-year-old 75 kilometer. How long would it take to travel there, do you think, one way?
What's that, a few days?
At least, yeah, maybe a week. Yeah. On foot. It's hill country too.
Right.
And you're going to send a small child, multiple day journey or through the hill country? No, it's preposterous. That's why it doesn't happen in the Quran. Each account kind of makes sense in its own framework.
Right. And wait, they go back in the Quran though? They go back to convince Jacob to let...
No, they're not gone.
Aha.
They plot. So this is a question I asked. Where are they when they're plotting? That's what I asked them in the Quran. Well, it tells you they're not very far from home because the next thing they do is they ask their father. So I say, well, okay, we can't tell exactly where they are, but they're like, I said, they're probably not in the same house, right?
Yeah.
Because they're not saying it, they're at least outside of earshot of their father.
Yeah.
But they're not so far away, they probably already know which well they're going to put him in, right? According to the narrative. We'll throw him into the well and a caravan's going to come by and you're going to pick him up, okay? So we're not thinking like 100 kilometers up north, because it's actually even further. They go up to Dothan, which is even further than Shechem, where Joseph ends up finding them in Genesis. So, and then in Genesis, Joseph goes, because it's the idea of their father to send Joseph, so he's not distrusting the brothers and worried about sending Joseph, and he has to be convinced by the brothers to let him go, like in the Quran. It's his own idea to send him. Mm-hmm. And so he sends him off. He goes up, okay, they're not in Shechem. He runs into the stranger. He says, oh, I heard them go up to Dothan. He goes up to Dothan. And then it says the brothers see Joseph on the edge of the field as he's approaching. The brothers see Joseph approaching at a distance at the edge of the field, and they say, there's that dreamer, because they know the dreams. Let's kill him and see what becomes of his dreams. Okay, so when are they plotting? In Dothan. They're not plotting in Hebron at home before they leave. They've been gone. Actually, how long have they been gone? Because if it takes, let's say it's a week to walk there, okay? So the father thinks they've been gone too long. That means it's more than 2 weeks because they've been gone too long. Maybe it's a month. How long have they been gone in the Quran? It says they came back in the evening.
Say that again, say that. They came back.
In the evening. It says, let's take him out with us tomorrow. And then it says they came back in the evening.
So it wouldn't even be possible for them unless they...
Geographically, so we show them, like one of the things I do is I show them maps.
Right.
So not that you're going to be able to see it here, but maybe I'll send you a picture to put up. Mm-hmm. So I'll show them like this atlas, and I'll show them a map of this story where it's talking about they're in Hebron, they go up to Shechem, the Genesis story, and then Dothan, and the caravan comes and brings them down to Egypt. Okay, so from here to here, this is not within a day. That they can go there and come back.
Yeah, not even close.
Right? It's like the whole story is so different, right?
And what's their response normally when you, because that's quite striking, right? All those differences already, that's a lot of rocks already, right? What's normally a response?
Silence.
Really?
And we move on to other stories.